I'm Deb Mitchell. I'm the Program Specialist here at the Montana Historical Society, and I'd like to share my favorite artifact here at the museum. The artifact that I have is, when you first look at it, it looks like an old piece of wood. There's some chalk scribbling on it, and until you know the story behind it, it looks like just a big piece of wood that you would find in the barnyard. So what I'd like to do is tell you the story behind it so you can see the piece of history that it's connected with. So the artifact that my favorite artifact is this one that you see right here. And as I said, it looks like an old piece of wood. The story behind this is, and I get to tell you this story, it was Saturday morning, February 27th, 1943. 77 miners working at the Smith Mine No. 3 couldn't resist working overtime for extra pay. No miner or family man would want to miss that. 32-year-old Clarence Williams took the shift, even though he was sick. Knowing that the extra money would help his wife Mary and their young daughter, he told Mary that he would rest on Sunday. It was to be 39-year-old Pete Giovetti's last day on the job. Pete came to the U.S. from Italy when he was 4 months old. He had bought a farm, and the family was prepared to move the next day. No more mining for him. 40-year-old Emil Anderson, or Emmy, as he was known to his friends, also took the shift. He was born in Red Lodge and raised in Bearcreek, and like most of the local boys, became a miner. He, along with his wife Agnes and two sons, Melvin and Elmer, and their daughter Doris, lived up Scotch Coulee. Agnes said that Emil knew the mine like the back of his hand. He was the one who could do anything electrical. At this time, the United States was in the midst of World War II, and rationing was in effect. It was important to get the coal out, as it was needed all over the country. Agnes recalled 18-year-old Melvin's friend delivering the news to the Anderson family that an hour and a half after Emil's shift had started, there was an explosion and the electricity was off at the mine. When they got to the mine and seen the smoke rolling out, the women were asked to get blankets and quilts for the rescued miners. Instead, the blankets would warm the waiting women and children and exhausted rescue workers. None would warm any survivors. It took until the end of the week to bring out the bodies of the miners who had worked that day, and Emil's son, Melvin, stayed at the site the entire time, helping with the rescue work. He was determined to get into the mine and find his father. He was sure his dad would find a way out. Everyone said if there is a way out, Emmy would find it. Emil was with a group who had survived the explosion blast. They tried to barricade themselves against the deadly gas which had begun to fill the tunnels. There was just a small space, about 2 feet, that they didn't get filled before the gas got to them, and realizing their situation was bleak, took time to write messages to their families on the sides of a wooden powder box with chalk. These that you're seeing here are Emil Anderson's last words to his family. It's 5 minutes past 11 o'clock. Dear Agnes and children, I'm sorry we had to go this way. God bless you all. Emil, with kisses. 77 miners between the ages of 19 and 68 were dropped into the mine that day. 3 survived, brought out before Agnes and her family had arrived. 74 miners were killed by the explosion or the poisonous gases. 1 rescue worker was killed while helping. 58 women were widowed that day, and 125 children were left fatherless. So next time you see an artifact in a museum and it might look like just a piece of wood with some chalk scribbling on it, you'll know that there's always a story behind something, and that story is what connects it to history. And this connects, the piece of artifact here connects to the Smith Mine disaster that happened in Red Lodge in 1943. So it is a big, big piece of history, and we're happy to have it here.